We're doing a special this week. This week, the Goza family has seen Sicko. We had a preview. This is a film that we all felt rather strongly about, and we'd like to talk a little bit about that. This is a separate bonus podcast.
Well, while we were in Indianapolis, we had a chance to attend a preview screening of the new movie Sicko, the documentary about the healthcare crisis. Really, really touching movie. It is a bit disturbing at times. It's also very, very funny. Of course, it's the new Michael Moore movie, and even if you don't like Michael Moore, you'll probably love this movie.
Yeah, it's really it's an issue that's not really about politics at all. It's about healthcare. So,
well, actually, his movies are usually not that political, not as much as people think.
Well, give him a little sneak peek. Tell him what it's about.
It's about the healthcare crisis, and by healthcare crisis, we're not talking about the number of people who don't have health insurance. We're talking about the number of people who do and think they're covered and aren't.
Yes, and some people have been in for some nasty surprises when they had medical emergencies, and this movie deals with some of them. And it also compares the healthcare situation in America to that in other countries, and we do not come out very favorably.
As a matter of fact, we're number 37 in healthcare, right above a country called Slovenia.
Yeah. And I was talking to one person who said, well, you know, this movie has an agenda. It only presents one side of the issue. That's true, but the other side's been presented for a long, long time. You hear a lot of politicians and media people, for example, talk about how the healthcare situation in Canada is really terrible. But this movie presents a portrait of the healthcare situation in Canada that is really very, very good. And even if you assume that the truth is somewhere in the middle, they still come out way, way ahead of us.
The problem with our healthcare system is that we have medical insurance, and this insurance is handled by companies, and the companies are out to make money, and the less money they have to spend on you, the more money they make. Also, they compared our healthcare situation not just to Canada, but also to other countries like Britain and France, where healthcare, if you have something wrong and you go in to the hospital to get it fixed, it's free. You don't pay.
Not only that, but in France, the doctors make house calls. They have physicians on call 24 hours.
You can call and have the doctor come to your house. Sometimes you don't even need to go to the hospital. And
you may have heard, it's been kind of all over the news, that Michael Moore took some 9/11 workers down to Cuba. And, actually, they were trying to get into Guantanamo Bay because apparently the inmates there, the people who have allegedly attacked us, have better health care. They are fully covered, no expenses. So they thought, why not take our workers down there and see if they can get the same kind of attention?
Well, he wasn't actually intending to take them to Cuba, but that was what he ended up getting in trouble for, is taking them to Cuba. But he wasn't intending to take them to Cuba. There's actually a very funny scene in the movie where he was on the boat with the 9/11 workers trying to get them into Guantanamo Bay with the bullhorn, shouting out and identifying themselves with the bullhorn. And there was no response from the guard tower for a couple minutes, and then a siren just started sounding.
And because the detention facility did not receive these 9/11 rescue workers and treat them as they treat suspected terrorists, Michael Moore ended up taking them to Cuba, which was nearby, and they received excellent medical attention free of charge. And even the medications that they bought were really cheap. One woman who was a nurse working at Ground Zero for several months and developing severe respiratory problems has been buying inhalers for $120 each in the U.S. In Cuba, she got the same thing for 5 cents each.
Which is ridiculous. And not only that, when they were taken in by the doctors to be treated, these people were almost in tears thanking the doctors for what they were doing. And the doctors are sitting there going, why are you thanking us? This is what we do. We do this for everybody.
And one more thing is this movie makes an important point that I've been making for years, which is whenever you bring up universal health care, you always hear people say, oh, it's socialized medicine. Oh, it's leading us on the road to communism. Oh, it's terrible, terrible. But the fact is that this country has enjoyed socialized education, socialized postal deliveries, socialized fire service, socialized police service all along.
Yeah, how would you feel if you had to pay for the police to come take care of something?
Or if the fire department refused to put out your house because you didn't sign a certain form. So again, Sicko, very much worth seeing and thinking about and getting angry about maybe.
It will be opening June 29th.
Even if you haven't seen any other Michael Moore's films, even if you don't like Michael Moore, go see this one. You will not be disappointed.